Alrighty guys, how are we doing today? Wanted to go ahead and do a technical analysis update, just a quick one on BTC. Let's head on over to the chart real quick. Alright, so here we are, Bitcoin, USD. Which exchange is this? I think it's Coinbase for this one, yeah. All right, so Coinbase, this is on the daily chart. Let's just go ahead and look at some price action real quick. And please make a note of this volume here, right? So obviously all through right here, you can tell our clear range is where our highest volume is. I think that this is a very, very, very important range. We're going to see a lot of chop through here like we have been. And I don't think that it's over, and I'll tell you why. Let me go ahead and turn everything on here, and don't get surprised. I know that this is going to look like a lot of stuff, but I just have a fib pull here. This is a master fib pull from our very bottom to our very top so far. We just broke through the 236 support, and now we're heading down lower. This box right here, this green box, this is basically our level of like a level of the support range right here, and we held this for quite some time, and it looks like now we're starting to break down. We rejected off of the top and could not hold above the top of this descending wedge here, and now that we're breaking through the support level, I think that we will see lower levels now, and I think that this count is going to end up being confirmed here. So I've basically have a 333, which is part of a larger just WXY correction in this descending wedge here. So right now, what the count obviously that I have is that we're coming down to complete our A. We'll test the top of this channel one more time and then come back down to our lower levels. Now this could be a little different. For instance, we could just hit here, you know, and then pop up and just do one of these numbers. But this is just like the most extreme case or whatever that I'm presenting right here, is that we're going to retest the top of this channel one more time. Normally the bottom of the channel gets tested 3 or 4 times in each direction before it ends up getting either validated or invalidated. So that's what I'm expecting to happen here. So you can also see that I had this descending channel drawn. This was from when this had first formed, only up until about the middle of last month, actually just about 1 month ago. And sorry for the noise in the background, guys. My daughter is playing right now, so that's why I'm going to try and get this done pretty quick for you, okay? So before, we had already gone down, we had already tested these 382 levels before, but we're in this extended correction now, and we've broken out bullishly from this original descending channel, which was pretty much just inside of this falling wedge here. And that's why I've got this label here, not only with the top of this channel line up with the time frame, it also lines up with our 382 support level here. So this is going to be an area that I'm going to be watching very, very closely, guys. This level of support right here, this green box. If this does end up breaking down, I definitely do think that we will see some new lows that we haven't previously seen since, you know, the very beginning of the month here. So this correction is not over. The way that I see this is I see this as a wave 2 out of a very long you know, correction here from basically our master count. You know, this was going from way back here. Let's put this on auto. Going from way back here, I was counting this as an ABC with another extended you know, descending wedge correction in here. This is pretty much my master count that I have right now. You guys can feel free to copy this or use this as reference as well. But I'm basically proposing that this was a gigantic wave 1, and now we're coming in for a wave 2 correction before we see our wave 3. Wave 3, obviously, I'm predicting that it would be up here. That would be our top at about $20,505. So all of these numbers that we're seeing here, these are playing in very, very well with all of our previous price actions. So that's why I do think that longer term, this count is going to hold true, and it's probably going to end up playing out. If not, well, whatever. I don't really trade off of Elliott Wave. I use it to kind of get an idea for where the market is and where we might be going, but that's about it. I never make a trade solely based on Elliott Wave theory, especially in cryptocurrency. It's just too volatile. The volume's too low. So zooming in here at a 4-hour, you're going to see some extra things on my chart here in addition to what was already there. We had this bullish Gartley pattern. We did hit our target here at the very bottom to complete the pattern, and on the reversal we did hit target 1. This would have been, if I do a fib pull here, I don't want to make the chart more messy, but if I do a fib pull from the very top from our A wave down here to our ending wave right here, this was about half, which is normally your target 1 out of a bullish Gartley pattern. So the target 1 did get hit. However, we bounced off of this resistance here, resistance at the time, and now, you know, we basically ended up retracing. We bounced perfectly off the bottom of this channel that I had previously drawn from here. And then we started coming back up. Now, keep in mind, guys, I don't really delete anything from my charts, as you can see here. You know, you can see all these wedges and stuff. So, you know, I didn't just draw these arrows just now or whatever for the sake of this video. These have been here. You can go back on my Twitter posts and, you know, you can see all of that stuff is always there. That's something that I learned from Jesse Feinberg, also known as Darth Crypto on Twitter, is I never delete anything from my charts anymore. He's a very big believer in that, and that's actually a technique that he is very adamant about, that I have also adopted as well, as I do not delete anything from my charts now. I leave it all here unless it, you know, is a unnecessary trend line or something. So for right now, we ended up bouncing up here. We tested the top of this channel again, and we just couldn't hold above this for more than, you know, a couple hours, and then we started seeing a heavy rejection on the day chart. That's obviously more apparent here because there's less candles on the day chart than there is on the 4-hour. We bounced right off of our resistance here at 12,200, where we have a lot of resistance. This is a very heavy resistance zone between 12,000 around here. Between 12,000 and 12.2 is a very heavy resistance zone. So we couldn't hold above this descending wedge here, and then we ended up falling back down. And right now, we have actually just broken through this level of support at 10,900. This can now be turned red as resistance, and we're heading down to complete our A wave of this final larger ABC correction. So here's where the correction and the count might end up changing. This trend line that I have, this goes all the way back from here, right? All the way back from March, at the very beginning, pretty much the very beginning of the year. This trend line is going to be very important. And this is where I think that we're going to end up either seeing a very quick breakdown or a very strong level of support here. There's an apex at all of these converging channel lines, and this is also the median line for this descending wedge. So there's going to be a good level of support here in this level between 9,900 and 9,500, this level right here. There's going to be a lot of support here. So that's why I think, you know, this could even be maybe potentially a more shallow correction, where maybe we see our A wave, you know, complete somewhere around here, around this support level in here, you know, before we actually come down and hit this, all these other trend lines. Oops, I moved the whole thing. Before we end up coming way down here, I think that, you know, we potentially could see it a little bit higher, maybe around the 10,200 area, and then pop up, you know, and either test the top of the channel again or whatever. That's why I think that this could be a more shallow correction. And what I would like, honestly, because I'm more bull than anything else, is I would love for this wedge to complete early, and for us to see another higher low here. If we see a lower low from here, what was this candle close on? Our low was 9,100. If we see lower the 9108 and we come down, you know, to the 8.8, 8.5 area, which eventually at the end of the day would be the target zone is 8.5. Obviously that would still validate the descending wedge, but it also wouldn't be too good of an outlook, because now, you know, we could turn this into, you know, an even more extended correction as well. So in the larger scheme of things, this 2 so far on the daily chart, as you can see, this 2 wave is pretty shallow compared to how long this wave 1 was. So, you know, if this was longer and it came down to, you know, here or something, and this wedge was a lot longer, and we did hit the 6.8 area and like 7.2, which myself and Dark Energy, Smoking Jay, a lot of other chartists are calling for, is it's certainly possible, but I just don't think with how much support and institutional adoption that we've had that's going to be happening. That's just my personal opinion. But for right now, this level is breaking down. As I said, you know, hopefully we don't see low lows of, you know, 9,700 by the end of the week, but I do think that we'll certainly see at least, you know, into the 10.4, 10.5K area, and then we'll go and move on from there. This trend line, this little dotted blue line, this is very important though. If this line does break, we will definitely be seeing, you know, a full third ABC wave correction to validate this entire count. So zooming out even further onto the 1 hour chart here, let's click auto and see where I'm at. Okay. So we're getting into this level right now where we're starting to see a lot lower volume. There's not very much volume right now getting traded, and I think that that's also contributing to the price falling so rapidly. As soon as we lost support here where all this volume was, we've just been coming straight down. So let's head on over and take a look at the futures and see if this has anything to do with any gaps in the chart. So it looks like this has been a previous gap here. If we drag these lines over, I'll hold shift down so that they're completely straight for you guys. So this is something I always pay attention to, is this chart. I always keep a note and keep this for reference of the gaps that are on the larger time frames, you know, the 4 hour charts, the day charts and stuff like that. So it looks to me like right now on the larger time frame that this is now going to be filling this this area right here. We really only had one, you know, candle here, and we never really got price action inside of this. So that's the reason for this significant drop all of a sudden once we lost the support at this level. If I zoom out a little bit and I drag this over, you can see this level of support here. As soon as this level is broken, we're starting to come down. So that being said, this would also line up with potential targets, like I said, about 10.5, 10.6. That's where our next level right here is. If you look at my mouse on the right side of the screen, it's right in this area right here. So let's take a look at our Bitcoin dominance chart and see if there's any correlation here. It looks like there is, and the Bitcoin dominance is starting to fall off. We're hovering right now about almost 70%. Our high was over 71%. Let's look at the week. So the highest it's ever been was like 94 to 97%. After the drop, this is actually pretty high considering coming back from our all-time lows down here at the beginning of 2018 and everything, when we were only at 30%, when we had the massive sell-off and everyone lost interest because the price was tanking. So far, these are some of the highest levels that we've seen since back in 2017. So in general, this is a good sign. Short term on the 4 hour chart, what's going on here? Load. Short term on the 4 hour chart, we had this huge Vegas wave. So now it's just starting to tank off and everything. And what I'm fearing is that this is going to be the cause for our drop here. So notice, again, we're getting into an area of a lot lower volume. Once this level of support right here breaks on this dominance chart, we could be seeing a lot lower levels here, down into probably maybe the 68 or down here at the support range at the 67% level. Bad for Bitcoin, good for alts. So if you're an alt trader, that's definitely a good thing to watch out for. Total market cap right now is sitting at 280 and declining. It's looking here like we're actually getting some kind of a falling wedge, which could be completing. And then this might end up coming back up to test. Certainly this would be the first level of resistance here. And then it looks like you got another one up here. So this would be the first level that I look for, would be getting back up into the 290s. Let's look at the total market cap. This is without Bitcoin. And this has just been ranging. And as we know, alts have been pretty much doing the same thing. They've just been kind of sitting in this range right here for the longest time. So hopefully now this will be changed, and we'll start seeing a little more alt movement. But it's kind of hard to tell with this total market cap formation here with Bitcoin and everything. If this ends up reversing, then I don't think that we'll be getting an alt season. However, if this is a lot longer of a falling wedge where we're coming down a lot further, maybe we pop up higher here and test this and get rejected, and we get an extended falling wedge maybe, and we end up getting something like this, then possibly this would incite an alt season. So I'm going to be a little hopeful on that. Hopefully we end up getting an alt season and the Bitcoin dominance keeps bouncing around in here for a while. But, you know, if we end up losing, you know, these levels down here, then all is lost. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Ethereum is pretty much sitting in the same range, just like the rest of the altcoins are. Obviously, most altcoins are paired with ERC, you know, their ERC20 tokens and ERC10s and stuff like that. So that's the reason for this range. And then you've got Litecoin here, which previously it ended up popping out of this this wedge bullishly, but it completely lost support at this resistance level up here. What happened to my line? Lost momentum at this resistance level here, and now we're coming back down. We're kind of bouncing around and sitting at this this next level down here. So hopefully this level will hold, and Litecoin won't be bleeding anymore. It's only about $85 right now. So for those of you that are Litecoin fans, this is definitely a good opportunity to be stacking up on Litecoin. However, again, be very careful down in these levels here. Look at this volume. We're starting to get into some pretty low volume areas, and normally that's not a good thing. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye on the volume with all of this stuff. But with all of that stuff said, guys, that's really all I got for you. Make sure that you check out all of my links in the description down below. Follow me on Twitter. You can catch me in the Discord. And also check out my Medium, where I post all of my you know, my educational stuff and things of that nature. So stay tuned for more of that, and I'll probably end up doing another analysis for Bitcoin before the end of the week. Take care and happy trading.